There we go. Good morning, beloveds. It's currently 8:29. We're going to gong ourselves in just a minute. Let me know where you are. Here comes Casper. You might notice we're inside because it's a little breezy outside. If you're hearing current news, then you know that there's winds are blowing here in Southern California, and they're not the safe winds. And so we're going to get ready to gong ourselves in. Let me know where you are, where you're checking in from. We'll be glad to hear from you. Look, there's the Casper. And again, over my shoulder, that's Dolly. And there's 8:30. So it's Tuesday, it's 8:30, it's Coffee with Casper. And we're going to go ahead and gong ourselves in. We're glad you're here. And we're just looking for somebody to say hi. I can see that we're on. And we're wanting to see, that means we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. So check in and say hi. It's Tuesday morning, holiday season. Okay, big boy, you ready? We're going to talk to everybody. You ready? Look at Dolly wants to be part of the show too here. Look at this. There we go. Oh, you got a little mess in your eye there, pal. We'll get that out. There we go. Let me know where you are, where you're checking in from. We're glad you're here. And it's now 8:30 according to my watch and according to the timer on the computer. So here we go. Let me know you can hear me and that all is well. All right. Well, we are in the holiday season, and as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Thanksgiving, of course, is about recognizing and blessing and giving appreciation for all the goods that's happened to us in our world. And then we move into, actually this year it's kind of unusual because Hanukkah starts on Christmas Day. Usually Hanukkah starts before Christmas, but this year Hanukkah starts on Christmas Day. And Hanukkah is all about the light that stays in the midst of the darkness, right? And then Christmas is the light of the birth of possibilities in all people. And then, of course, before Christmas, we go into the winter solstice. Before Hanukkah and Christmas this year, we go into the winter solstice. And what that's about is the shortest day of the year, the darkest day of the year. And beginning on December 21st, we start moving into... Hey, there's everybody. Hi, Loretta. Hi, Tricia. Good morning. Reverend Tricia from Moore Park these days, and Loretta from Boise. Nice to see you all. We're glad you're here. We're just reminding everybody what we talked about a couple of weeks ago about the meanings of the holidays. Anyway, the 21st is the darkest day of the year, and from that moment forward, more and more light comes. And then right after that, on Christmas, and this year, Hanukkah, also about light, but about the birthing of light in the human being. My background, one of my friends later in life, later in his life, and I was in my 50s, Walter Starkey. Walter Starkey talks about his paradigm from which he came into the greater idea of the birthing of the Christ or the Atman, or the realization of the self in the self, as the self, through the self, came through the Bible. He had been brought up as a Christian and learned all of those ideas that are in the New Testament and as well as the Old Testament. And then, as we know, there are the Tibetan Book of the Dead. There's the books, the writings of the, not the writings of the Buddha, but the writings about the Buddha. Tremendous amount of Buddhist scriptures. The Quran is a scripture. There's so many different scriptures. And the truth is that how to live life is not written in a book. What is written is a pathway to live life. And one of the great new understandings that we have in New Thought is that the birthing of the Christ is the birthing of the glory of God within me. Now, the 12th century mystic Meister Eckhart it was blasphemy in his time, but he had a realization that the Christ was forever begetting, the only begotten is forever begetting itself in me now. Now, in an infinite universe and therefore an infinite God, there's going to always be something greater to know, something greater to understand. Good morning from Houston. Nice to see you this morning. Good morning, Pam, way up in Napa land. David has joined us as well. I bet you Toby's in the picture. That's exciting. Well, we're glad everybody's here. So today, I want to focus on not getting stuck on words and not getting stuck on belief systems that we may have been influenced by. I, too, was influenced by my original Episcopal baptism and then for training and young training in Sunday schools. And then I was influenced by having those ideas as I participated in the Christian Science Church, Mary Baker Eddy. And Mary Baker Eddy was the first one to use those same Bible terms and translate them into the universal Christ. Meaning that Jesus put on the Christ, the awareness of the Christ. And the same is true of Buddha. Buddha became the Buddha. He was not the Buddha. He became enlightened and became the Buddha. So Jesus was Yeshua ben Joseph, and he became Jesus the Christ. And when Meister Eckhart said, the only begotten is begetting itself in me now, he means the birth of the wholeness of God, of everything that God is, was given to you. And everything that God can become and is becoming is part of who and what you are. And so we are, each of us, a potential Christ, a potential Buddha, which is awakening to the glory of the Most High as who and what we are. We talked about Meister Eckhart's line often, the soul has two faces. One gazes at the glory of God, the other directs the senses. Now, if we were to move into that soul awareness, what we've been calling upstairs thinking, we would be paying attention all the time to asking, what is it you are seeing, my soul? What is the glory you are seeing? And how can you open my personal eyes that I might see it more fully, and my heart that I might embody it more completely? Yes? That I may be the place where light and love and joy and freedom and happiness and wholeness and healing and revelation comes to me, through me, so greatly, because the begotten is begetting itself in me now, that I become a place of healing, a place of peace, a place of poise, a place where life and liberty and justice and wholeness and equality and all of the great joys of what it is to be a human being alive. St. Ignatius, the glory of God is a human being fully alive. So our mission is to become fully alive, and in so doing, become fully aware of what's been called our Godhead. And the more we do that, the more we become a beneficial presence in the world and to everybody who touches the arena of our experience. So here's what the philosopher Ernest Holmes said, and I just want us, again, not to get stuck on the word, but to get stuck on the idea that the wholeness of God, that God birthed itself and you as its daughter or son as the only begotten. as the glory of the Most High, as you. And this is what Ernest Holmes wrote about this. Christ is the embodiment of the divine sonship which has come to all, with varying degrees of power, to all people, in all ages, and every person, and to some degree. Christ is a universal presence. So we are at a time now where we're changing paradigms, where the old ideas, good morning from Albuquerque. Hey, Paul from Studio City, nice to see you. Good morning, Crystal, nice to see you. And the Reverend Dr. Angelica Jane. And Angelica's been doing a wonderful thing by doing these peace affirmations that I am the place where peace is happening. I am. And you say, well, that's repetitive. You're doing it. If I am peace this way, I am peace that way. Yes, it's repetitive because there's only one truth and it remains the same. And the mind, the human mind, acquires habits by repetition of thought. We use the brain. The brain is an instrument of the mind. The mind is where our soul dwells, in the very center of God, gazing at the glory of God. And you and I are the place where that gazing, come on up, Cass, you can, where that gazing at the glory of God and listening to it and being interested in it and inviting it into our lives, because it's the power of the soul. It has come to all to varying degrees. And that goes back to how far does the circle of our life go? And the answer is depends on the soul force. And what we say, what that means is, depends on how badly you want it, how badly you mean it. God, show me the glory of who and what I am. Show me how to heal, uplift, inspire. Show me how I can, in my unique way, be a beneficial presence. In short, have fun being you. You are the place where God's infinite idea of you is unfolding according to the power of your own soul force. Have fun being you. You are the place where God's infinite idea of you is unfolding according to how much you want it. Do you want to just be a human being living from this suit, this meat suit that I put on for this lifetime? I came from the light. I put on incarnate. Carne in Espanol is meat. I became incarnated. I became flesh. And we know we come from the light. We shall return to the light. And we came with a purpose. And we came at a time of transformation in the world. We became a time of era change. Era change doesn't happen in 2 weeks. It doesn't happen in a moment. It happens as the consciousness of those on the planet invite the awakening of their personal self, the awakening of their personal self into the glory of the Christ, the Atman, the Buddha, the High Self, the Enlightened One. And it doesn't take a few days. It takes an entire lifetime. And in the meantime, you're part of the race. And transforming the race, nobody gave you the burden to try to transform the race all by yourself. All that you were asked to do, you chose at some level to be incarnated at this incredible time of transformation in humanity. And right now, in the human condition, we're going through this tremendous purge, the purging of the old ideas of fear, of doubt, of racism, of prejudice, of inequality, injustice. All of those ideas are no longer serving humanity. We have arrived at a new place where a new way of being has to come into expression. And the only way a new way of being can come into expression in the human condition as you become the place where that's happening. And that's why our awareness, daily we meditate so that we can still that chattering mind, what the Buddhists have called the monkey mind, and those repetitive thoughts, and take a breath and breathe in a holy breath and allow our minds to perceive something new, to awaken to a new thought. You know, my email address is drharry@newthought.com. And every time I have to give to a repairman the idea of what's your email address, I say drharry@newthought.com. And they say, huh? And I say, well, like having a new thought instead of an old thought. And they go, oh. and that's where you and I are. You and I are the ushers of the new thinking into the world. You and I are the place where we recognize that all of these scriptures have written about this transformation, about the glory of the awakened ones, right? And what an enlightened soul can bring to the world. And each of us stands at the precipice. Christ is a universal presence, and it comes to everybody in some degree. And how much the only begotten is begetting itself in me now depends on how much I lean into it. How much am I interested in the only begotten begetting itself in me now? The place where the awakened glory of God, where the full realization that I shall be ever spiraling up in my awareness, therefore up in my soul force, up in what my perception of what the magic and the miracle of God in me, as me, and through me can be. It is not I, but the Father, Mother within me that does the work, right? I begin to recognize that it is my consciousness that in fact is returning through the law of the circle into my life. And so our work is yes, we want to contribute to the transformation of all humanity and the earth into an awakened state. And yet we see, as we go through the waves, as I've now gone through, I'm in my 7th decade on the planet, and 5 of them being aware that I am one with the One, being aware that I am a place where transformation happens, being aware that love and light and truth and wisdom and power and peace and poise, that through the glory of the I am that I am, health, wealth, and success are normal. And now I have to be the place that claims that health, wealth, and success. And we say we look at the world and we don't like all these events. We don't like the choices. Some like the choices that humanity is making. Some don't like the choices that humanity are making. And we must be the observer witness, the participate witness. I'm participating in the race, but I'm participating by knowing that I am the glory of God and that each and all are the glory of God. That the I am presence that lives within me is the I am presence that lives within all. Now the whole race doesn't know that, but nothing and no one, no institution, no event, no nation, no church, no religion, nothing has the authority to stand in the way of your seeing, as Ernest Holmes said, seeing through the mist into the eternal and changeless reality. And this is now the holiday season, this holy time where all of these events are coming. We're coming toward the solstice. We're in a great purge process on the way to the solstice. We see it on the evening news. Wow, nations changing, dictators falling, transformations happening. It's and it almost looks chaotic. But chaos is just the appearance before a higher order reveals itself. And you and I are the ones that must know that chaos is just an appearance before a higher order reveals itself. And we must choose to live in the higher order now. And by choosing to live in the higher order now and bringing that magic and that miracle into the world, that literally your presence can uplift the soul of the butcher, the baker, the plumber. It doesn't matter. The lawyer, the judge, the jury, it doesn't matter. It can awaken everybody because it's given to each and all equally. But what we do with it Everybody doesn't do with it the equal thing. Some people don't even ever awaken to who they are. They just live as a coat of skins, and they die, and then they go, what happened? And then all of a sudden, the amnesia mist is gone, and they remember, oh yeah, I told God I would do that. And I said, well, Source would ask you, your divine self would ask you, well, what do you want to do now? Well, there you go back to Ricky Byers' prayer. Use me, O God. I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. As the Course in Miracles says, God is but love, and therefore so am I. All things are echoes of the voice of God, and the power of decision is my own. Have fun being you. Use these holly and holy days where people are seeking joy and unity and communion and honor. Use them. Use them. Use it in your consciousness. Use it to spread it. Use it to be a place of light in the world. And watch how the joy expands in your own world. Joy at a higher level. Light at a higher level. Love at a higher level. Health, wealth, and success at a higher level. This is what's ours in this holy season. This is what ours is to choose as we move into the new year and help the paradigm shift, not only in your city, in your neighborhood, in your state, in your nation, but indeed in the world. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. Share the video. Share these ideas that together we may join and be a place where the light workers of the world are remembering who they are, remembering the begotten is begetting itself in me now, and be a place where it happens. Have fun being you. You are the place where God's infinite idea of you is unfolding according to the power of your own soul force. Who you are is something special. And what you bring to the world is something special. Until we meet again. Come on, guys. Until we meet again, we invite you to go in the light, as the light and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Have a wonderful holiday week. We will be back next week on Tuesday with Coffee with Casper. Invite everybody you know to join us, and we'll see you then. Have a great and wonderful week. Bye for now.